Welcome back everyone to my second challenge run of the Final Fantasy Legend 2 for the Nintendo Game Boy. The first challenge run that I did was the 4 monster party. Now it's the second challenge run, the 4 robot party. If you saw the last episode, the final shot was a screenshot of the instruction manual that basically told you not to use either of those two parties, the 4 monster or the 4 robot party. So that page is basically the genesis for these 2 challenge runs that I'm doing. One that I've already done and this one that I'm currently doing right now. So here we are in the second world, Ashura's world. The biggest challenge in this world is navigating the sandstorm to get to Ashura's tower. If you talk with people in the towns, you'll kind of get information on how you can find Ashura's tower. But an easy way to do it is just to head to the right upon leaving the Celestial Tower, and eventually you'll run into the mountains, and there's a 1-tile gap between the mountains and the sandstorm where your vision isn't obscured. So you just follow that 1-tile path down to the south, and then take a turn to the west when you can't go any further south, and eventually, if you're paying attention, you'll see there's a clearing in the north. Once you see that clearing, just head straight into it, and that'll take you to Ashura's tower. So it's almost like going back to the Star Wars thing. It's like we're on Tatooine. Instead of invading Jabba's palace, the gangster crime lord, we are going after Ashura, the wannabe god. Ashura, the backstory of Ashura is just basically a simple goblin who used the power of the Magi, and it morphed him into a 6-armed, 3-headed, powerful creature. So it's the game way of showing that, hey, Magi can make you really tough. Goblins are those simple enemies you can beat with one hit in World 1. And it's basically turned into, like I said, like your first kind of roadblock boss. Now, the game will give us a hand, though, to deal with this first difficult boss. And that hand will come in the form of a 5th party member. Right there, Mask, who's currently in jail. I don't know how he got put in jail, because Mask is really, really tough. So I don't know how he ended up getting captured. Maybe just because there's way too many enemies. Yeah, Mask can pretty much one-shot pretty much any enemy. But as you notice, a lot of the enemy encounters that we're running into here have large groups of monsters, and each group tends to have a lot of monsters in it. So you saw like there was like 6 beetles. Right here we have 3 groups of enemies. There's only one of those soldiers, but there's 5 eagles. I think there was 3 beetles. I didn't really see the number. But yeah, enemies come in large amounts here. So maybe that's how Mask got captured, because Mask only comes with a single-use hammer. Not single-use, it has full durability. But it can only hit 1 enemy at a time. Mask has really high strength, so even though the hammer has really, really terrible damage multiplier, he can still do a lot of damage with just that hammer. If you really want a hand against Ashura, something you can do is, we're going to find a battle sword, which has a much better damage multiplier. You can just give Mask that battle sword, and with the battle sword, Mask can pretty much solo Ashura. But we don't have to really worry about Ashura with the way that IG-88 is toughened up. One thing that helped IG-88 a little bit earlier was we found a saber, which is a slightly better version of the rapier. Gives a little more agility, and it has a better agility modifier in terms of doing damage. So here on the final floor of Ashura's tower. Now, because we're so powerful with IG-88 and Mask, Ashura won't be a problem for us. But I'm still going to make a quick save, just out of habit. The only issue that Ashura may cause to a party like this one here, is one of the attacks that Ashura has is the flame attack, which is a magic attack that hits everybody in the party. And that's bad for robots because robots don't have any mana stat. And mana basically functions as your magic defense. So robots take a lot of damage from spells. One way we could avoid damage is we could have, like I said, equipped IG-88 with Fire Magi, and that would give him strength against fire. But I didn't do that. Didn't matter though because Ashura's going to fall pretty quickly here. The other robots just provide targets for Ashura and keep IG-88 mask safe. There we go. Ashura has fallen. But even though Ashura has fallen, Ashura still has plans in motion. And the plan that he has in motion is basically to extract the Magi from Key. Key was the healer who joined us at the end of the First World here to infiltrate Ashura's base. We learned that Key has Magi inside her body, and that gave her the power to heal. So Ashura's basically like, if I send my soldiers, shrink them down, send them in the Key's body, they can take the Magi out of Key and kill her at the same time. Basically killing two birds with one stone, but we ended up killing Ashura instead. So we've learned from that fairy who was hanging out there with Key, I guess that's her like assistant, that basically Ashura's minions have already shrunk themselves down and entered Key's body, and if we want to do the same thing, we need to head to the next world, the Giants' world, where the Giants no longer live. Because apparently the Giants found a way to shrink themselves to normal size, and they just left the world and basically are living as, you know, regular normal people. So we're going to head to the Giants' world to see if we can find whatever they use to shrink themselves so that we can shrink ourselves to go, like I said, attack those enemies who are attacking Key inside her body. Before we head to the Giants' world though, sell a bunch of that stuff that we picked up in Ashura's tower. That's enough for us to buy that submachine gun. That's going to be really important because we have another boss battle coming up inside Key's body. And it's going to be a group of enemies. And that submachine gun will let us cut through those enemies really easily. As long as an enemy doesn't have O damage, which is strong against damage or strong against weapons, that submachine gun can wipe out any group of monsters at this level. The only monster we don't have to worry about is that we have to worry about that takes 2 hits with the submachine gun is these rock monsters. But we won't run into them until we get into Key's body. Speaking of running into things, we head to the right side of town here. We're gonna run into our father. And we're like, hey, we defeated Ashura, come home now. And this is where Dad basically says like, nope, there are more people, even stronger than Ashura, who are out there potentially looking to abuse Magi. So we gotta stop them first. So we're like, okay, well, we'll help you out, Dad. So Dad doesn't decide to help us out though, he just leaves, does his own thing. We'll run into him later and he will end up helping us. But for now, the only help we can get is heading into the back of this store where this guy is selling Giants gear. Giants gear is really, really powerful. Basically like game breaking for this point in the game, but it's really, really expensive. You wouldn't be able to afford it. It gives really good defense for robots and humans, and it has an added benefit for humans and mutants. It gives them plus 10 strength, and that's per piece of equipment. So if you put giant gauntlets on, the giant boots or the getter boots on, giant armor and giant helmet, you can get plus 40 strength. And strength goes up to 99. Now, when you're doing calculations for damage, it can theoretically go above 99, but 99 is the highest available stat shown. So yeah, getting a 40 plus boost to your strength, that'll make, as long as you have the agility to hit anything with it, that'll make any person using a strength-based weapon just cut through the enemies like a hot knife through butter. Of course, IG is still doing that with his saber here. Good thing in the Giants world here is most of the enemies are like solo enemies, so IG-88 can just take them out with one hit. We don't start running into large groups of enemies until we actually get into Key's body. That's where the submachine gun's going to be handy. And wipe out those big large groups of enemies. And that gets us good money. The more enemies you fight and defeat in a battle helps increase the amount of money that you get. Like right now, most of these enemies are worth like 99 gold. So like if you defeat these two monsters, you'll probably get like 198 gold, 99 for each of them. But then like if there's multiple of the monsters, the gold gets a little bit more, it increases a little bit more. These enemies. Those robot enemies there, Lydians, Robo somethings, they can actually drop gear as well. They tend to drop like firearms though. Like humans tend to drop like you know, either skills like a martial arts skill or like a weapon like a sword. The robots tend to drop more like firearm type stuff. I think these robots here can drop a thing called a rocket. Rocket, there was a strength-based weapon, so it'd be useless for us. We would just sell it. Speaking of selling things, you could pick up this Micron here. That's what we're going to use to shrink it to Key's body. The interesting thing about this game is special items like the Micron you get here, you can actually go to a store and sell them. Unfortunately, the game kind of anticipated this. It's not going to soft lock you out of the game, so if you sell like a key item that you need to advance the plot, the key item will just reappear where you're supposed to get it. So I can go to the store, sell that Micron, and then come back, pick up another Micron, and keep doing that over and over again. But the game kind of, I guess, realized that you could theoretically do that. So basically, if you do sell a key item, it's only worth 1 gold. So yeah, you can't cheese the game and get a whole bunch of money by grabbing a plot important item, selling it, and then picking the plot up and important item up again to resell it. Yeah, everything's only worth 1 gold, so. But yeah, once we use like the Micron or any other, sometimes we'll get some keys. Once you use them, just sell them. You don't have to hold on to them. The game is nice where like, once you use an item, and you've done that little sub-quest that goes with the item, you'll never have to use it again. So like after we use the Micron to shrink in a Key's body, once we finish everything we need to do in Key's body, we never have to use the Micron again, we can just sell it. Or drop it. In certain worlds, like you'll get a key to enter certain doors after you leave that world. Don't need the key anymore, just sell and drop it. So I'm selling some gear here that I picked up, so I can buy some gold equipment here. It gives a little bit better defense than the silver, which is weird because like gold is a very malleable metal, which means it's soft. It can be easily like manipulated, turned into like rings and, you know, jewelry. So I don't see how it would be like a really good armor to wear. I know in the they have a remake of this game, and like they changed, I think, the gold to like mithril, that magical metal. That makes more sense then. Because we're gonna get like a weapon later on, a gold sword. Like that would be terrible in like actuality. Steel sword would be so much better, cuts better, stronger metal, less likely to deform. But this is just a fantasy game, we don't have to worry about it. once again, it's trying to apply real world logic to a video game. So now let us head back to Key with this Micron that we have. I'm gonna go into Key's body, and it's a very unique dungeon. Actually, I'm gonna be, like I said, heading inside Key's body, so the dungeon layout is basically like human anatomy. There'll be like 2 arms, 2 legs. We'll go into her heart, we'll go into her digestive system, all in this to search for the magi that we need. So let's head on in. As long as you have the Micron in inventory, just talk with Key and a shrink. Go inside. And here we are. We start at her head, and we'll be working our way through her body in the next episode. So take care, thanks for following along, and I'll see you next episode where we explore Key's body. Bye!